Week 8 of the English Premier League now in the books, results taking shape, teams finding form, and really a lot of storylines that are emerging so far this season. The action began on Saturday as Leicester City traveled to Stamford Bridge to take on the Chelsea Blues, and really a resounding 3-0 win for Chelsea. Diego Costa got the scoring started early on in the 7th minute, followed by another first half goal from Eden Hazard. And then, would you believe it, Victor Moses. He has gone from seemingly a nobody at Chelsea to really a main man of Antonio Conte's plans, it seems. I mean, scoring a nice goal of his own, working his way into the lineup. He started this game. Important to note that. So, really, Leicester, I mentioned this in an earlier episode. They're in a unique spot right now because clearly the magic of the championship run, just the magical run of last season, has dissipated. But I say that with a caveat. In the Premier League, it has dissipated. Leicester City now has 8 points out of 8 games. Really, not much of a title defense to speak of. Meanwhile, in the Champions League, they now have 9 points out of 3 games. What a remarkable gap in class Leicester City has displayed in the league versus the Champions League. It's just it's been massive, and manager Claudio Ranieri is not happy about it, and it should be fascinating to see what he does to address the situation. Could you imagine Leicester City fighting relegation and fighting for a Champions League trophy at the same time? That would be a new kind of fairy tale, a twisted one. So later on Saturday, Manchester City hosted Everton, and another bit of a surprising result for Pep Guardiola's man, only playing to a 1-all draw. Lukaku scored a great goal, wonderful individual effort in the 64th minute to get the scoring started, and then Nolito scored in the 72nd minute. Nolito is off to a great start with life in the Premier League. Very impressed by his play so far, but clearly Man City is showing that it is not invincible, that the Premier League trophy this year is very much up for the taking. Bournemouth, with the most commanding result of the weekend, a 6-1 drubbing over Hull City. Charlie Daniels scoring in the 5th minute very early on. Steve Cook scored in the 41st after Ryan Mason bagged a goal in the 34th minute, and then a brace from Junior Stanislas, who's a pretty impressive player himself, followed by goals from the 83rd and 88th minutes from Callum Wilson and Dan Gosling, respectively. So pretty even distribution of goals scored from Bournemouth. Much has been made of having guys like Jordan Ibe coming into the frame, Jack Wilshere on loan from Arsenal, but it is the no-names who are really getting it done for Bournemouth so far. Usually teams that score 6 goals in the Premier League are not fighting relegation, so perhaps maybe they're more likely to finish mid-table. Who knows there? Meanwhile, Hull City, though, they have a serious problem on their hands after a hot start to the season. Completely different situation there. Now, Stoke City playing Sunderland. What a ridiculous start to life Joe Allen has enjoyed at Stoke City. He has scored more goals in 8 games at Stoke City than he did in, I believe, 4 years at Liverpool Football Club. He bagged a brace, an 8th-minute goal, followed by a sensational strike in stoppage time in the first half. You got to be happy for wee Joe Allen. What a beautiful, beautiful man. I'm sure Brendan Rodgers is shedding a tear of joy for his main man. So, Stoke City taking care of business, a crucial result for them because, shockingly, the team known to many as Stoke Alona has been in the relegation zone this year, and they have no place being anywhere near there when you see the money they have spent on players. Now, Arsenal hosted Swansea. Bob Bradley making his debut in the English Premier League Of course, you would anticipate it would be a difficult one having to travel to the Emirates Stadium. Theo Walcott got a first half brace and missed a sitter that could have iced the game for Arsenal late on. Gylfi Sigurdsson scored a great goal, but Mesut Ozil blasted home the third goal of the match, which proved to make the difference after Borja brought it within striking distance in the 66th minute. This is an example of some frustration amongst Arsenal fans. They take care of business. Sure, they figured out how to win the game, but it's not the formula for long-term success. They let Swansea back into it when they had no business doing so, and they missed plenty of chances to kill the game off. So, still plenty of areas of concern for Arsene Wenger. Now, West Bromwich Albion played to what has to be considered a point gained at the Hawthorns against Tottenham Hotspur. Sure, it was a very happy day for Nasser Chadli, who scored against his former club, although he did not celebrate out of respect, so that is respectable. And then Dele Alli rescued a point for the Spurs in the 89th minute. Son Heung-min continuing to get it done. He actually came off the bench in this game, playing a pass that led to Dele Alli's goal. So a bit of a disappointment there, I'm sure, for Spurs fans. And on Sunday, a couple of lower profile games took place. Watford took down Middlesbrough 1-0 at the Riverside Stadium, and the game-winning goal actually came from Jose Holebas. He's a little-known player, but a wonderful strike from him. Certainly one of the top goals you'll see this weekend. And then later that day, Southampton took on Burnley. A bit of a tough start for Southampton as they adjust to the season. Some shake-ups in the squad. Charlie Austin, though, has been a positive addition. He bagged a brace on either side of Nathan Redmond's goal. So Southampton strikers are scoring, which is crucial for any club. And then Sam Vokes bagged the consolation goal for Burnley. And then on Monday, last game, of course, that took place was Manchester United traveling to Anfield to play Liverpool. It was, for Manchester United, a point gained, and you could say for Liverpool, 2 points dropped if you want to at least base it on tactics. Jose Mourinho came for a draw, played for a draw, got the draw. So well done to him, I guess, if you will. But really a small club mentality from a team that made record signings in the summer. Just, really unsporting tactics from Mourinho, but unsurprising, really. I predicted that it would be a high-scoring game. Surely I was mistaken because I underestimated the parking the bus effect, although I thought Mourinho thought more highly of his own players. So I think it was a sign of respect, actually, from Mourinho that he played for a draw. I think truly deep down he knows that Liverpool is more talented than Manchester United, which is why he went that way. Man of the match, David De Gea, made some world-class saves. His save on Coutinho's effort, I think in the 71st minute or so, was extraordinary. I think he's the only keeper in the Premier League who could have made that stop. So let's take a quick look at the table now. Man City remains on top, but only on goal differential with Arsenal. Both of those two teams have 19 points. Tottenham has 18, Liverpool at 17. In fifth place, Chelsea now have 16 points, Everton 15, Man United staying at 7th with 14 points. Now, Southampton has 12 points. Of course, they're going to be looking to move up. And Crystal Palace, Watford, and Bournemouth each have 11 points. Bournemouth has 11 points as well. West Brom, 10 points at 12th. Leicester City, 8 points. And then as we start looking towards the relegation zone, Burnley, West Ham, and Hull each have 7 points. And Middlesbrough went out, and they're now down to 6 points, as are Stoke City. And the bottom two teams are Swansea and Sunderland. And so that just about wraps things up here for my EPL recap. But I missed out actually on Crystal Palace and West Ham for whatever reason. That slipped my mind. West Ham 1-0 over Crystal Palace. Crucial result at Selhurst Park. What does that tell you? My last thought: West Ham is better away from the Olympic Stadium.